This is Automotive Repair News Today with Lisa Foshee. And I think, I need to go back and look at this, but I think you might be the most recurring guest I've had.
Wow, I'm excited about that.
I think this is your third time on, so I think if somebody else has been on 3 times, that's it. So at least you're tied.
All right, great.
So congratulations.
Thank you.
You have accomplished that milestone. How do you feel?
I mean, I feel great about it. It's right up there with beating Wayne Gretzky's goal record, which we're also on the countdown for, so that's good.
Is that for real?
Yeah.
Who?
Alec, I can't say his last name. I can't pronounce it right, but he plays for the Capitals.
Really?
Yeah, he's 9 goals away, I think.
Okay, I did not know that's happening.
Yeah.
See, I'm big into the major sports like basketball, football, baseball, but I don't follow
Disc
hockey. Well, not a major sport, but I am big into disc golf. So I didn't know that was happening. That's crazy.
Yeah, that will be a big milestone.
Yeah. Not as big as this, though.
No, exactly.
But,
I mean, I put them in the same category.
Right, yeah. I'm glad we have our priorities there. So, but another big milestone, speaking of milestones, is what's about to happen this year that I feel confident in, I think you do too.
I do.
That right to repair, the Repair Act that just got reintroduced, is going to get passed. So, we talked at Apex in Vegas back in November. A lot has changed. Congress has changed. And the bill just got reintroduced last week. So, tell me the latest.
Yeah, I think the last time we visited about this, like you said, it was at Apex, and we were
just got to recession.
Yep, and we were sort of at the end of the 7 stages of grieving about the bill in the 118th Congress. So we took a little time, everybody regrouped, and
the funeral's been had.
Yep, as one does. But no, you're exactly right. We are so excited about the momentum that we have carried into the 119th Congress and where we are with the bill. So you're right, it was reintroduced a couple weeks ago by Dr. Dunn, our original 4 sponsors, Marie Glusenkamp-Perez, our congressional shop owner, Warren Davidson, Brendan Boyle. But the really exciting thing is in addition to those 4, we had 12 additional original co-sponsors. Again, bipartisan, so it got dropped with 16 co-sponsors. We're up to 20 now, I think. Again, really, really important that it stays bipartisan, because as you know, it really is it's not a D issue and R issue. It's very much, a people issue.
Yes.
So we'll have to go through the same steps that we went through before. Most likely we'll have to have a hearing before the Energy and Commerce Committee. We'll get a vote out of Energy and Commerce and hopefully get it to the floor. In the meantime, we are focused very strongly on getting a companion Senate bill this time, because if you recall, that was something that we ran out of time to do in the 118th. So that is priority number 1, frankly, at this point.
Yeah.
But there continues to be so much energy around the issue. It's exciting.
Yeah. So by the way, you probably hear some background noise. We are at Vision Kansas City 2025 recording kind of in the middle of everything. So hopefully the audio quality is good. I think it is. But these mics are pretty good. Thank you, Hollyland. So tell me the timeline, though. So it just got reintroduced. I think we may have talked about this before, but give the listener and myself a refresher on where you think or where you expect, how long you think this will take.
I think realistically it will take us the duration of the 119th Congress. It's just the way these things go. And they have, anybody who's reading the news knows that the Trump administration has an energetic agenda. They have a lot of things they're trying to get done. So we just want to make sure the Repair Act is one of those things. But I will tell you, there's a lot of energy in Washington. Not being political, whether you agree with what's happening, not agree with what's happening, they are showing up to work and they are trying to get things done. And so that is positive for anyone who's trying to run legislation. So we're very excited about getting started so that, you got to start to move. So getting that bill dropped and introduced and all of the good press that was around it was great.
Right.
The other thing that you mentioned, I feel really lucky to be here at this conference at Vision, because these are the folks that are on the front lines of right to repair. I mean, these technicians are living this every day, And I've had the opportunity to talk to so many techs and so many shop owners about what this means to them and how they can get engaged and help, and frankly, how we can help them and best advocate for them. So to really have the opportunity to be on the front lines of the industry here it's been a great couple of days for us at AutoCare.
So, do you think it happens this year? Maybe next. You said the whole term, so you're saying next year.
It could happen this year.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be amazing. I think just realistically, we all should psychologically plan on the 2-year.
Expect the worst, hope for the best.
Exactly. But we are doing everything we can to keep the momentum going. But what the point I definitely wanted to make, and we talked about this some in November also, is because of the enormous hard work that the industry did in the last Congress in terms of sending letters and visiting Capitol Hill and talking to their legislators. That has enabled us to do our job in DC without having to call on people every day to support this effort.
Yeah.
Because that's really what we're trying to do, is frankly give everybody a little breathing room while we go get done what we can get done.
Yeah.
The corollary to that is, because we're giving everybody a break, when we call for help, it means it's really time. And when we call and say, send those letters, meet with those Congress people, have them out to your shops, it means that it's go time.
Yeah. So my dad's a pastor, and he always says, and I think this is a consistent thing from pastors who lead churches, but he's like, I can preach from the Bible, I can share what I think God is telling me about what you do in your life, but I can't be the only person who goes to tell other people. He's like, that's the congregation, that's you. And so I kind of feel like that's similar here, where you're on the front lines, you are in DC, you're talking to the powers that be, but the shop owners and the other people in the industry kind of need to help do the work too. So, when you tell us time for those letters, it's time for those letters.
It is such a perfect
You can only do
example.
so much.
That's exactly right. And, while certainly I am confident they'd love to hear from me, who they really love to hear from are their constituents, their taxpayers, the people who are offering jobs in their districts, and that's what everybody in the industry is doing.
Yeah.
So, absolute team effort. It's going to take all of us. The automakers are not giving up. I mean, I guess we could talk for a minute about Massachusetts.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
So, that, again, in November, we were checking the obituaries of the judge in Massachusetts to see if he died, because the case had been languishing for so long.
Yeah.
In January, out of the blue, we got a notice that it had been reassigned to a new judge. And within 6 weeks, that new judge had, taken briefing, had an oral argument, and issued a 47-page decision in our favor, saying
awesome.
We won,
Yeah.
which was phenomenal.
Awesome.
I suppose I was naively hopeful that maybe that would bring the automakers to the table to see how we could, all talk about moving this forward. But they have indicated that they're going to appeal that decision next week when it's due on March 17th. And so, that will just continue sort of the overhang of litigation in Massachusetts. And I think that just makes getting this federal bill done so much more important. So 50 state applicability, all automakers, we can all move on with our lives. So that's really what we're trying to do.
What does that do, though? I don't know if it's necessary to have good standing, good relationship with the automakers. I mean, I think it should be, but if that bill gets passed, that's not what automakers want. So does that provide tension that will be more challenging to have to go through with that relationship?
If the Repair Act gets passed?
Yes.
Oh gosh, I don't think so.
Really?
No, I really don't. I mean, the automakers agree and use the statistic that we use, which is that 70% of auto warranty repairs get done in the aftermarket.
Oh, yeah.
So there's no dispute that we need them, they need us, and the consumers need all of us. So I think once the bill gets passed, everybody is just going to move forward and do business. We're all going to go out and compete for the benefit of consumers.
Then why not go ahead and do some of that? If you're going to be forced to, why not go ahead and just release some of the information?
I continue to believe that it is twofold, and this is just Lisa's opinion.
Yeah.
I have no idea what they're thinking. But I think, number one, because they're big companies, they don't want laws that tell them what they have to do. Just as a general proposition.
I get that, yeah.
Number two, I think and we've talked about this, they are collecting all of this data in these cloud servers that they control, terabytes of data, that they need to monetize. That is their business model going forward.
Yeah.
And that's fantastic for them. But I think they are so concerned that any inroad into that walled garden of data, no matter how much it makes sense, will be a slippery slope to them having to give away all of that data and then not being able to implement their business model.
So they're probably coming at it from the perspective of, in the negotiation, you always start with the highest possible number. That way, when it does get worked down, you actually come to where you want to be.
That may be it. But again, they're if that is their thinking, it's flawed for so many reasons. Number one being that we're not asking for any of this data for free. We have always said,
you'll pay for it, yeah.
We'll pay for it. We just want to pay the same as the dealers pay, less their discount and rebate programs. And then we're going to go out and compete like hell. We're going to have better coffee and better service and better customer relations and do what we've always done.
Yeah. I've always said, and I think you agree with it, you've already kind of alluded to it, but it's just 70%. They can't repair all the cars. They need aftermarket.
What are they going to do? Go buy Walmarts and put in bays?
Right?
I mean, it doesn't make sense. It just, when you step away from it and take sort of the emotion out of it and the fact that it is the livelihoods of everybody in this room, it just doesn't make walking around sense why they're fighting this so much. Yeah. But they are, and they spend millions and millions of dollars fighting it.
So, the Trump administration, you said that they are aggressive, they're getting to it. You said it's going to be interesting to see where it is on the priority list. Do you have any indication of where it could be, how far low or how far up it is on the priority list of things they want to get done? Because I think, what I've seen the Trump administration do, obviously, is all the tariffs, they want to keep things in the U.S. And Honda is moving one of their plants from Mexico to, I think, Illinois, because they got to. You have to. And I think that's kind of the idea, is to bring jobs here. That's what they want to do with these tariffs. And so the focus is on U.S. stuff. This is a big U.S. issue. So didn't know if you have an idea where it could be on the priority list.
Yeah, I don't want to speculate on that because obviously they all have different lists depending on where you're sitting in Congress. But what I will say, and it's the point that I think you're making, which is if they are looking for a voter-friendly issue, we're it. Voters
That's true.
Love this.
That's true. It would look good on them.
75% in Massachusetts, 85% in Maine.
Right.
You ask anybody walking down the street, if you just paid $80,000 for a vehicle, should you be able to fix it where you want to fix it? 100% yes.
Doesn't matter what party you're in, that's the yes. That is a yes.
So the message that we are carrying to Capitol Hill is, if you guys need an issue that all of your voters are going to love, we're here. This is that issue.
Yeah.
And the only people, as we've talked about, that disagree with it are the auto manufacturers and their dealers.
Money.
Yeah. And again, it's business. I get it. But it just doesn't make walking around sense that you shouldn't be able to fix your car where you want to fix it. Especially when it's cheaper and faster.
Yeah. What else? Anything else that you think needs to be out there in the ether?
Well, you talked about the tariffs. I think that business loves certainty, and I think the uncertainty of the tariffs is you talk to anybody in this room, causing, a lot of consternation, a lot of stress, right? People don't know whether to buy, to sell, to hunker down, what to do. We at AutoCare are we have positioned ourselves as a source of data and facts about the impact of the tariffs, because the policymakers are going to do what they're going to do for the reasons they do it, but to see the hard numbers of this is how many products this affects, this is what happens when you take them across the border multiple times, this is how integrated these supply chains are. And this concept that just with a magic wand, you can unwind all that and go back to a purely American supply chain. And I don't think anyone really believes that, but you have to appreciate, remanufacturing, the complexities associated with that, and the real costs. At some point, these tariffs will get passed down.
Yeah.
There's just no way to avoid that, I don't think.
Right.
So. And that may be a decision that the administration is willing to take for these other goals that they're trying to achieve. We'll just have to see. But in all cases, a huge topic for folks.
Yeah.
And then the workforce initiatives, we continue, and that's why, seeing a conference like this is just amazing, but continuing to look at ways to make sure that money that is available is being used to encourage people to enter into the trades. Congresswoman Gluesenkamp-Perez, who's one of the champions of the Repair Act, also has a bill to allow the use of 529 funds to buy tools for trades. Covers laptops, it should cover tools.
Yeah.
So that's something, we're really excited and passionate about also.
Cool. Well, thank you, Lisa.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm looking to, break the record and hopefully come back a fourth time.
I mean, there's things that need to be talked about, so I think there's a good chance.
All right.
There's a good chance.
Great.
Thanks.
Hey, if you're still here, thank you so much for listening to this episode of Automotive Repair News Today. If you enjoyed the show, please take a moment, like, share, subscribe to the podcast. That'll help us out a big deal and help grow the show. And you know what? While you're at it, slap on a review too if you feel like this content is helpful for the industry. Don't forget to follow us on all your favorite social media platforms. We're on Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn. Stay connected and be the first to know about new episodes, behind-the-scene content, and more. And until next time, let's make the industry better together.